Hi, I'm Linda. Welcome back. Today I finished up a mountain scene. Lots of pretty colors in here, a lot of palette knife work with some beautiful pines, water runoff. I think I'm going to call this Spirit Valley. It looks to me like a spiritual place. So I hope you can pause and paint, follow me. So let's get started. And here are the oil paints I used. Liquid clear, liquid white, titanium white, black, phthalo blue, Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, sap green, yellow ochre, cad yellow, and red. And I've covered my entire canvas with liquid white. And I've taken a little phthalo blue on the right corner, X strokes going all the way to the other side, blending, and now I'm taking a blender brush and just doing circular motions, adding a few darker phthalo blue clouds there, just blending underneath, smoothing it out, and lifting up. Adding some more phthalo blue just to give it a little variety in there. Circular motions, blending. Now I've etched out a few mountains here with some medium gray paint, oil. Just etched it out where I want them to be. Taller ones, some in the back, a little one on the right there. I'm just shaping right now. I'm just trying to get an idea where I want these mountains. They're like, huge cliffs, and it's going to be really cool when they're done. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put some clouds in, some white, titanium white, with my fan brush, and with a little round brush, I'm going to go underneath that, circular motions, and just blend underneath that to make it really nice and billowy soft. Stretching over that middle mountain there. I'm going to add another row. I'm going to add quite a few of these. Circular motions with the corner of my fan brush. And softening the bottom part, leaving the top edge pretty much alone. But I'm going to be making quite a few of these in this painting. Just, nice soft circular motions, blending in. And you can make them wherever you want. As you see, I made several little clouds up there, lots of them actually. And so now I'm working on shaping another small hill back there. So I've gone with a little darker blue and made an outline there where the clouds end. So now I put in, filling in my cliffs with some gray and leaving some of that gray open, but I'm just perfecting the edge. Just getting that nice clean edge on those cliffs. I'm using a little smaller brush rather than a palette knife. So I want them nice and sharp. And same with the other side. I made another little hill back there, and I'm just softening underneath with some gray or pulling some of that black down, that dark gray color down. Just blending. Filling in my little cliff areas there with a little brush. Now I've got a 1 inch, and I am pulling some of that paint down, just smoothing it out a little bit. Leaving the top edge. But I just want to take that excess paint and bring it down. And I've added a little black toward the bottom of that big one there, just pulling some of that color down. I added a little blue, more blue in there, but I just want to bring some of that down. This is just the background color for what's going to be on the face of those mountains. Now I'm adding a little white, titanium white, in that crevice up there. Kind of probably a little runoff, snowy area. But I'm just adding a little white in there, tapping it in. So now I'm taking my round brush, and I tapped in some titanium, and I am tapping in some white. I'm leaving some of those blue areas in there, but I'm just tapping the whole area, going over to the other side, underneath or alongside of that other mountain, and way in the back there's another one. So I'm just tapping in some foggy, it's going to be like foggy areas after I'm done. But I'm trying to smoothen that out. I did the other side under that mountain. I'm going over here in the front toward the bottom. I'm just making a billowy effect. Now I'm pulling down some color on that cliff there with some white, a little bit of very light blue. And if you've got some sharp lines there from your palette knife, just take a little smaller filbert brush or whatever and just kind of correct those lines that are off. Now I'm using the palette knife to just to the edge, create some lines coming down off the mountain there, and I'm correcting with the small brush, putting in some more highlights in that far behind that big mountain, right behind it. Just getting some white highlights on that, touches of black and touches of gray. Just putting some base colors down. I'm putting some black on my palette knife, and I'm pulling that down from the top of those cliffs. Like I said, if you have any straight lines, take the little brush and correct it. And I'm improving, trying to perfect that cliff there with some little white, touches of blue, just making sure the edges are nice and fairly crisp. Bringing some of that white down. Just gliding the palette knife over. Hopefully it'll break and it'll give you some nice little holes there. I'm taking more white, coming down, and I'm leaving some of that blue show. Just trying to get the angles just right on that cliff. Adding a little dark up there, and then swipe it with a little white if it's too much dark. And now I'm tapping in the area with some white, making a nice billowy effect, foggy. And back at the top, I'm adding some more dark color, show some rocks up there. Same with over there, I'm putting a little bit of gray touch on the very top there, and some black on the other side. Adding a little white, looks like a little waterfall back there. And tapping on that side there, under that mountain peak. There's going to be some trees right there, so I'm going to outline another little plain and mountain, another little hill that's in front of that, the one in the back there. So I'm just going to etch in where that mountain's going to go, that part of the rocks are going to go. Just a little dark line will work. And I'm going to work up and join that other mountain over there with a little spot in the middle that's more of a deep crevice, I guess. Continuation of a mountain way far in the back. I'm going to scrape off a little bit of paint there with my palette knife, and I'm going to go right in with a little black on my brush, little X strokes. I'm going to do another little mountain there. And now I'm going to be tapping in some trees with a little bit of light blue. And the tips of the trees will just show, actually, because there's going to be another plain mountain in front of that. So it's just tapping in some trees. And now I'm bringing down some white with my palette knife, like snow, coming down off that side. And on to the other side, bringing some snow down from that mountain. Just gliding it down. And a little black there, just to black with a touch of blue. Just create another plane. I'm lifting up with some white, a little bit of white, touch of blue. There's little trees back there, little bushes. So I'm just lifting up and creating a little line of little bushes, I guess. Grassy areas. Now I have taken phthalo blue and I've made it looks like water down there. But I just took phthalo blue and went across the whole bottom and put a little color on the cliffs too. I put some little bit of Van Dyke brown with a touch of yellow ochre just to give it some color on the top left there. And so now I'm taking a small brush and I'm going to fill in that little blue area there. It's going to be another cliff that's is forward. It's closer. So I'm just etching that in. It's going to swoop down and it'll just come to the bottom of that where the tree line is. Adding some dark there. I'll be filling that in, but right now I'm just etching that little mountain cliff area. Just another plane, a plane. And adding some black in there. Taking my palette knife and trying to make a nice sharp edge on that little mountain there, big old rock. I'm going to add a little bit of Van Dyke brown with a little yellow ochre. Okay, so now I am kind of trying to complete that other edge on the far side there. And so I'm making that a little bigger. Bringing it down, there's going to be a valley there where the river flows. The river is going to flow right around that where I'm working. And I'm just adding a little light blue there, like it's a water runoff. A little light blue, with a little white. It's like a little continuation of a cliff. Now I'm taking a little round brush and I'm just tapping in some white, circular motions and tapping. And I'm just creating a little foggy area underneath that middle rock there at the base. So now I'm taking some phthalo blue and white and I'm creating the water line where the trees are going to be. Actually, it's going to be snow, but I'm creating that back line there. Notice I've got a white area right in the middle, and that's going to be the water area actually. But I'm lifting up now with my fan brush, pulling some of that little blue right up, and I'm just creating some grassy areas there. Little grassies. Just push it up and soften it out. Now I'm taking a fan brush with some blue on it, very light blue, and I'm creating where the water is coming from and running into what's going to be a little river there. So now I've got the same color, light blue, and I'm putting in a few pine trees right there at the edge. Fan brush, zigzag, tapping lightly. I don't know, I might put 4 or 5 right there, but I'm going to stop just before the river bank there. I'm going to jump over the river and go on the other side and make a few more little pine trees. See, I went over the river there, starting another, they're really short actually, and they're just background trees for what's going to happen next, as I'm putting some larger trees in front. But I want to have some background trees there, so they're just very light. You see I've got quite a few over there. Now I'm taking the corner, the edge of my palette knife, and you can scrape upward and make little trees with it. Little indentations in the paint, and it'll look just like little trees back there. Alright, now so I have taken some white and I've come in from both sides, stopping in the middle, creating a little runoff, like a little stream right there. Added a little gray in that snow. I'll be making it whiter here in a little bit, but right now I'm creating the angles of that little riverbed and making it darker in the front, and it's lighter in the back. I'm just taking some white there and creating little banks where the snow stops. Just creating little piles of snow there. And with a little blue, I go in there and smooth out the water a little bit, add a little more white. Even use my finger a lot. And so now I'm using a dark blue, it's phthalo with a touch of black, and I'm going right underneath where the snow meets the water. Just put a little line under there, and it really makes that pop. Gives it lots of depth. And you can spend hours doing detail work. I'm just kind of showing you the basics here, but it's a lot of fun. Just creating depth way in the back, the little darker paint there. I'm taking my palette knife, I'm just creating a little water movement with some titanium white. Get a little roll on there. And just create some like little, not waves, but just water movement. Okay, so I put my trees in, like 4 on the right there and like 3 on the left. And I'm taking my palette knife, just making some nice peaks. And those pines are made with sap green and with a touch of blue. Side to side. Little zigzags with the fan brush. So now I dip my fan brush in some titanium white with a little touch of liquid white. That'll make it really stick nice. I'm going to put a little snow on those pine trees. Just tapping really lightly. Starting at the top, little zigzags. And I'm mainly gonna put most of the snow on the insides of those trees. I will go back and touch up with some sap green and blue, and I'll kind of fade some of those white ones on the right side, but because I want just the inside of those boughs really nice and like the wind and the snow blew through there, and not so much on the other side. Leave some of that green part of the tree, leave it open. And I'll move to the other side and just basically do the right inside of that tree there. Makes it look more realistic. And I'll do my final two. My goodness, I think I see a finished painting here almost. Wow. Well, I sure had fun doing this one. I hope you did too. So if you want to see more of these, click the like, follow me, share if you want. Until next time, happy painting, and God bless.